Today on Drawbli, we are drawing
Catch.
Click that subscribe button if you are new around here.
And comment below with more ideas of what we can draw.
What we can catch. So, the prompt was catch for this episode. Where did your mind immediately go?
Everywhere and nowhere. Actually, it took me a really long time to find a reference image that I felt like I wanted to tackle. And this was a double whammy for me because, as we've said, these are really out of order for me in terms of when I discovered the selection tool. This is my first time trying to use the selection tool as my primary art.
Do a phenomenal job.
I don't, but thank you.
You do. I'm watching you right now.
I do a phenomenal beginner job with the selection tool.
Well, I think this is, I did them all in the order that they're viewed. I thought we agreed upon the order that we were going to do our Drawbli homework, but I guess not.
It just didn't occur to me that the mismatch in order might actually be a weird thing. Where it's oh, it looks like suddenly you got so much worse, Abby. What happened?
Well, that just happens naturally also
true.
because sometimes, you have good days, you have bad days.
Yeah.
It's, it really depends.
But no, these are pitcher plants. I decided I wanted to do carnivorous plants.
Oh, pitcher plants.
Uh-huh. I think
so. How does that work? Does the
called.
bug just land in it and then?
Yeah, there's a sticky, sweet resin inside, and then it'll slide down and be digested.
Oh.
I don't know if that leaf covering.
It's a water slide to death.
Yeah, exactly. But I was definitely inspired to use the selection tool and start using it when I saw your finished piece before I ever tried this.
That's okay.
Said, I think this was the one that made me say, Ben, show me the selection tool. Show me the ways of it, because you said this was how you created this, which I am now seeing is a lie. Where is the selection tool? Huh? No, you have used it.
I use it a little, but I also have a hard brush that I'm using. I believe it's the syrup brush. I like the syrup brush just because you can, if you look at the left, that top left slider, it's cranked all the way to the top. So that, you can press really hard with the pen and it'll make a giant shape if you need to, or you can just very barely press to get a fine line.
Yeah.
So you can see I'm making these bigger shapes here, but I was just a moment ago making those thin lines. So it really just, it's...
so versatile.
Versatile, right.
Yeah. No, your piece, this finished piece is one of your best so far.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you. With this one, sometimes I experiment with trying to pick my own colors and stuff like that. This was one of those where I just wanted to try to make something cool using some of the techniques that I've learned without adding extra difficulty of trying to just pick my own colors throughout the whole process. So I do sample a lot of colors, but at the end I do a little extra fun stuff to get some... I'll keep it a surprise. So I see that you are putting this red color around your glass. Tell me about that. What's going on there?
So I have that on a separate layer. It's actually a sketch layer because, like I said, I'm really not used to this selection tool yet, and I needed to...
Your glass already looks really cool.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with what this allowed me to do in terms of making the glass look sharp and defined.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I actually liked your red lines on there. Maybe if you, I don't know if you do anything with your sketch lines occasionally where you use a multiply layer. I've seen that as being a really popular technique. Oh, I can see that you're using the edge warping.
Yeah.
I never use that, but it is something that I feel like I would love using. For those that don't know, the edge warp, or edge liquefy, I guess. It's under the liquefy tool in Procreate. You set it to edge, and it essentially pinches your different shapes together. It is really, really cool. I really like using it.
Yeah, I think it's really helpful for me
don't
because
use it enough.
The selection tool lets me be pretty sloppy with my lines, so it helps me clean them up a little bit. And same again, just sketching in where I'll be selecting. But oh man, this whole piece, I don't necessarily want to focus on it too hard because it's just me trialing and erroring my way through discovering the selection tool.
That's what literally every Drawbli episode is.
But to the max, because this is my first time. Let's focus more on what you're doing because it's incredible. The colors are already so vibrant. The backpack is looking super cool. His hat, a very nice hat.
Yeah, his hat gets better too. I find that when, using this kind of technique where you're trying to get these harder edges, a lot of the time you benefit from having less colors So a less value range with, like look at my backpack. There is, for the most part, 3-4 values there. There's a shadowed area, a light side, and then there's like a highlight, and then there's like an even deeper shadow. So like 4. So very kind of cell shaded almost, which I think we've talked about on Drawbli before, having these hard steps. I would say like 3 or 4 is really all you need. If you start getting more complex than that, it sometimes gets a little muddy. It really depends on what you want to do, though. I mean,
it's funny you say that
anything.
because not one we've recorded yet, but a piece I worked on using the selection tool, I really wish I'd had that insight, because I end up like sampling and using every single color and every single slight hue variance, and putting it all in.
Well, it really just depends on what you're going for. I mean, I think it can look good. But I find that for that kind of stylized, sharper look, it's often, less can be more in some regards. I think it reads easier.
Have you ever gone fly fishing?
No.
I've heard it's like an art.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Well, then I have to do it. I'm all about that whole art thing.
And the flies that you use, what are they called? I think are they called flies?
What?
The fancy. These are like the fanciest lures. Oh, lures. They're called lures. The fancy lures of the fishing world.
I thought you were saying that they actually used flies, like on a hook or something, which is not the case.
No, it is not.
Yeah, I have seen some of the very colorful, fun lures. I've never gone fly fishing. I'm not a big fan of fishing really at all. I find it pretty boring.
Maybe fly fishing would actually be fun, because you cast it out and you immediately start reeling in. It sounds like you don't sit there and just wait for a bite.
Sounds like a lot of work.
I mean, it looks like a lot of work. It looks very expensive.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, all the gear for it looks like it's very pricey. I mean, look at that backpack. That's probably like a $400
But then you gotta
backpack.
catch... It might be, yeah. Then you gotta catch a fish, though, and then, then what? What do you do with that?
Maybe you eat it like a bear.
You just right there in the water?
Yeah.
Just dig in?
Yeah. Maybe that's what that guy's ready to do right now. He's a freak.
So we have a carnivorous plant on the right and a carnivorous person on the left, about to eat whatever fish they catch.
Well, that's why the word is catch.
Yeah, when I thought of catch, the only thing that really came to my mind was fishing. I was actually thinking of doing like a fish on a hook, coming up out of the water, splash water everywhere. I thought that would be really cool. But the image that I'm referencing here is a much larger image. I took my reference and I cropped in on it really hard because I wanted to just focus on a specific thing and try to make a more interesting composition. Also, I think I mentioned in our last episode how a lot of the time I try to focus on less I try to do more on less. Whereas you are doing that right now, but a lot of the time you'll do more with more. Like you're just like, I'll do it all. Right.
I'll promise the world. And deliver Ohio.
Oh no.
That's all there is.
That's all there is. I love your colors. I love how you are using them and getting them all into place. When we started Drawbli, one thing that I used to do for shading and for highlights that I don't do anymore is I would choose like a pure black and a pure white, and I would throw that on my painting and just fade them out. But what that actually does is it really desaturates your areas that you're trying to highlight or shade. Because even shadows and these lighter areas will have some color in them based off of what they're bouncing off of. So I pretty much never do that anymore. I will sometimes, I think a little bit at the end on this piece, I get some pure black in a couple areas that I fade out, but I might not even do that. I think I try it actually at the very end, and then I go back over it because I was like, no, that looks bad. Are there any things like that you feel like you used to do, but now you're like, I'm much older and wiser now?
Well, I used to use brushes, but now I use the selection tool.
You still use brushes. And one thing that we are going to do more of, that I'm going to do more of, I don't know about you, but really try to work on and practice blending. I have always been, I think, the weaker of the two of us when it comes to soft edges.
I've been way over aggressive. Something I've been thinking
been
about
so
lately
aggressive.
is like, oh, I can still use soft edges. This actually came to me while I was doing my eyeshadow the other day. And I was using a darker shade in the crease of my eye. And I was like, what would happen if I used like a tenth of the amount of dark I usually use, but blended out a lot more?
Wow.
And I ended up liking the look of that a lot more. And so I thought, what would happen if when I went to use the blending tool, this isn't exactly the same, but I used it like just a tenth of what I normally use it. So I'm much more gentle with it. And not on this piece, obviously, because this is just crash and burn, trial and error. Like, I'm learning.
Yeah, it's about balance, though. Soft and hard edge control is a fundamental of painting here. So I think it's something that definitely comes with trial and error. You know, it is something that I really struggle with because I think it's really difficult. I think especially when you're new to painting like we are, it's been very hard to try to figure out exactly what that is going to look like. And I think it just really comes down to trying it and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't.
Yeah, we do a lot of trying here.
And we do a lot of seeing what doesn't work.
We do a lot of what doesn't work and watching other people do so well.
So this is your very first time trying the selection tool. But you immediately fell in love with using the selection tool. Why is that? What about it is it?
The cleanliness of the lines. They may be sloppy, a little bit wobbly lines, but they are so delineated from one another.
Yeah.
And I just love the sharp focus that brings to anything, because I feel like with digital art, it gets so muddy so easily, and this is like a freedom from the mud. I've been lifted out of the mud.
I genuinely think that is mostly due to the opacity of brushes. So you're like layering these brush strokes on top of each other. And I think as we get more experience, we'll kind of figure out exactly, the reason for that is because we don't really have a lot of shape control. So, another fundamental of painting is the shapes that you are creating and how you are blending between those shapes. You remember how I was talking about like how oftentimes less is more? Well, I definitely think that is the case when it comes to creating your shapes for your not just your value transitions, but your saturation transitions. I know we don't do like a lot of faces on here because they're so hard for us, but I've been seeing a couple of techniques that I would like to try, maybe in a future Drawbli.
I think we should venture back down that path here soon.
Try another face. What was the last face that we did that we failed on real hard?
That we failed on real hard? Oh gosh, I don't remember. I did the girl with the candle over several episodes.
I did Captain Jacathan Sparrow.
I did that little doodle of Keira Knightley.
You did do a
with
Keira.
Like a cutesy style.
Yeah,
it was kind of more of a doodle than an art, but
more of a doodle than an art.
Doodly.
Just a sketch. # just a sketch.
Yes.
Have you seen those memes of like incredibly finished art, like from like old sculptures that are hundreds of years old, and people are just like, just a sketch?
Oh my gosh, no, but that's funny. Have you ever had a carnivorous plant at home? That was one of my obsessions when I was young.
Oh, really?
I was frequently like jumping around to like different things that I was just very passionate about briefly.
Wow.
Which...
No, I did not have any carnivorous plants. I don't think I've ever had a carnivorous
Oh,
plant.
they are so fun.
Why is that?
Because they're so cool. And you can get pre-grown little terrariums for dirt cheap. I feel like though I might remember hearing that there's some negative environmental impact. I might have to look into that.
Of what?
I don't know. I don't remember. Of owning these carnivorous, I don't know. If it ends up being a harmful thing to humanity, then maybe I'll avoid it. But if not, maybe we should pick up a little Venus flytrap or something. They're fun to have.
Yeah, it sounds fun. I've never had a carnivorous plant before. So you had a lot of them when you were younger?
Not a lot, but every once
like
in a while
50,
you get kind of like how you'd get like a Tamagotchi and be in love with it for a few months and then be like, I'm all done, and it died.
I can't remember what it was called. Was it called Let's Go? No, that's the new Pokemon game. There was this like Pikachu Tamagotchi, essentially. It was, I don't remember what it was called. I don't really remember a lot about it, but I do remember having one, and it came with, or maybe you bought it separately for the Pokemon Yellow game a long time ago, so you had like a little Pikachu Tamagotchi that you would take around with you. And I think that, I don't know if it did anything with the game. Like I said, I don't really remember a lot about it, but I do remember having it. Tamagotchis are coming back in style.
They are. They're actually more
after
of
that recent Red Panda movie.
They're like a cute accessory, I feel like.
Yeah, but it sounds like a lot of work, you know?
Well, you don't actually have to do the work. If you just look like you have one, you might be doing the work. It's all about the look. I don't know if it's actually about passion.
Yeah, I don't actually take care of this baby. It's more about the look. I'm just kind of...
It's just more of an accessory baby.
Yeah, accessory baby. Please tell me that that's not a thing.
I don't think it is.
Well, either way, at this point, you can see that I have hidden my reference image, and now I'm just having fun with it.
Whoa,
you know?
that's
just having fun.
Just super fun.
So I'm starting to try to get some just fun colors in there and add some visual interest to my image. I really like throwing in splashes of colors that you wouldn't expect in your image in just random places. Something that I've seen Marco Bucci do a lot, shout out. And it's something that I've been having a lot of fun playing around with. I think it adds some splashes of, it adds, it's a painting. It's supposed to be different from real life. I do not ever want to get into hyper-realism. I think that sounds so incredibly boring. If you want to do that, right on, good for you. If I did, I'd buy a camera.
I like how you end up adding a lot of different colors to the water.
Yeah, I do that.
And his pants.
And his pants.
His pants.
You gotta get all the colors in the pants.
You have a very good, but it's all a very good color harmony that you have going on too. Nothing's like fighting with each other. I like the contrast you've done on his skin of his hand. That's subtle but well done.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome.
I like the subtle contrast that you've done on the plant.
No. Just no. We both know what this is over here.
No, it looks cool. What are you talking about? It looks really cool. I actually like yours a lot. I think mine is just more complex than yours.
You're, at this point, significantly more practiced with this method. And it shows. Like, this
Abby,
is what
it's not a competition. Guys, hey, everybody, it's me, Ben. It's me in post.
Oh my God.
It is a competition.
Yes, and the winner every day is Ben.
It is not. That is
Look
not
at the
true.
colors.
Whoa, oh my gosh. Have you ever seen those colors before?
That looks like you're painting with all the colors of the wind. It looks like one of those movies where he's like, I don't fish for fish. I see the fish in the colors of the water. And then at that point,
that means
I don't know. It's like a movie where they animate it as like, oh, and then there's the water lights up with different colors, and you're like, wow, he sees in a different way than we do. And that's how he's such a good fisher.
Those are the scales of that one really shiny, colorful fish. The children's book. I don't remember.
Oh, Abby. No, why do I always think her name is Abby? Oh my gosh, Rainbow Fish.
Rainbow Fish.
I don't know where. In my childhood, I swear I remember reading her name was Abby.
Well, maybe your dad read the book to you and named the fish Abby so that you could relate.
Maybe. I just don't understand why I have this lifelong impression of that. Anyway, yeah, he better not be fishing up the rainbow fish, though.
Yeah, there's only one of them.
Well, she lives in
Doesn't she give her scales away or something?
Yeah.
Isn't that like the whole
Yeah.
thing? I don't remember how it ends. Do they give her the scales back?
No, I don't
No.
remember like picking up on the life lesson of that either. I just was like, that's nice of her to share.
It's been a little while since I read the
I wouldn't
Rainbow
want to
Fish.
dig too deeply into that.
I believe it's my sister's favorite book, children's book. But yeah, there is my beautiful finished painting next to Abby's beautiful finished painting.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
I really like yours. I don't know why you're so hypercritical of this piece.
Everybody's their own worst critic.
One, it's the first time. Look, you got to be able to objectively be every once in a while like, yeah, I did pretty good on this one.
For my first time using this selection tool,
That's what
I
I'm
do
saying.
enjoy looking at this.
I think it looks very visually cool. It adds much more to the original image. I think mine does the same. I would say both of these are a success.
In their own special ways, and yours is a hyper success because it's amazing.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, click that subscribe button if you're new around here to Drawbli.
And comment below with ideas for what we can draw in the future.
And this is the part where we say...
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
It's a good trout.
It's a good trout. No. All right. That's the end.